Hey guys, Jennifer Dixon here with LPT, and today I wanted to talk to you about the pros and cons of using the listing agent if you are on the buyer's side of a real estate transaction. So often I represent both sellers and buyers, and oftentimes I get phone calls from individuals about some of my listings. And of course, I'm happy to help those people if they want to buy a home. And people are often like, well, why do I need a buyer's agent and all this kind of stuff? So today I just wanted to shoot a super quick video about some of the pros, and then of course some of the cons about using the listing agent if you are in the market for a home. So first of all, one of the bigger pros, if you are savvy enough, and so you have to be savvy enough, and so listen to me, if you utilize the listing agent as a buyer, you can try to negotiate a discount in the price, because typically, and I know that there's a lot of laws going around from the National Realtors Association about whether the sellers have to pay for the buying side commission. But right now, for the most part, here in our area, Chattanooga, Tennessee, so around Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, that kind of area, the seller's listing agent splits the commission with the buyer's agent. So what is that? That's usually between 2.5% to 3%. Sometimes it's as low as 2%, but usually it's not much more than 3%. And so one of the things that you can do as a buyer, if you want to save 2%, which on a $100,000 home is $2,000. So it's not a ton of money, but every little bit counts, right? So if you're savvy enough, you can go in and say, listen, we like this house. We'd like to make an offer in it directly through you to the listing agent. And we understand that since you will not be representing us, because there's not dual representation. You don't want to do that. That's just not, most brokerages don't allow it, first of all, but then in general don't want to do that anyways. You say, because you're just going to be facilitating this transaction for me, and I'll explain that in a minute, I want a discount for the services. And so the listing agent will still get paid their share, the 3%, and you can negotiate the 2 to 3% off the purchase price, because the listing agent doesn't have to split the commission. This is a secret most listing agents don't want you to know, because if they can, they will what's called double side the transaction, which means they get to keep the listing agent's 3% and the buyer's agent 3%, which adds up, right? If you are the listing agent. Why am I telling you this? Probably because I don't know, I talk too much, who knows? But it can save buyers a significant chunk of change when they are negotiating a $300,000, $500,000 home. Now, let's talk about this whole representation, and I'll just shoot another video about what are these different types of representations. If you utilize the listing agent as the person to help you submit the offer, they will more than likely be what's called a facilitator. Facilitators can't advise you, which could be a problem if you are a first-time homeowner, right? Like if you're a first-time shopper, this might not be the best idea for you, but you could still navigate these waters. So what all they are doing is submitting the offer on your behalf, which, let me tell you, is not that terribly difficult. If they tell you otherwise, they're just blowing smoke up your rear end. So don't bother about that. The con of this is there's really nobody like looking out for you. So if you have your own agent, they are out there going to bat for you. So if the inspection comes back and there needs to be XYZ done, your agent's going to go to the other agent and kind of go to bat for you. If you are familiar enough with what inspections show and what is a deal breaker, what's not a deal breaker, all that kind of stuff, you can negotiate on your behalf in terms of what repairs you want done or the amount of money that you want taken off. These are all things that you can do on your behalf, and it can save you upwards of 3% a transaction. But the problem is you don't have that that person on your side that will tell you that the seller is being unrealistic, or you don't have that person on your side saying, we could negotiate this for this particular detail for you. So if you have done a few transactions on your own, you've already seen some home inspections, you've already owned a few homes and fixed a few things, and you're kind of somewhat aware of the ins and outs of buying a home, you could contact the listing agent directly and negotiate the price down what the buyer's agent would get. A lot of listing agents won't like it. But since the market is shifting, this is not really the COVID market that it was a couple of years ago, it could be a good tool for you to save a little bit of money. All right, stay tuned for more insider scoops for the real estate world. Talk to you soon. Again, my name's Jennifer Dixon with LPT Realty. If you want to get a hold of me, you can shoot me an email at jennifer@southeastrealestateinvestors.com. I do love working with my investors. This is kind of my jam, helping to negotiate on the buying side and the selling side. So stay tuned for more tips and tricks. Talk to you soon.